Now, before I say anything, I got to make sure that I'm coming in loud and clear. Got to make sure that the sound is okay. Because you've been busting my culione for the past, I don't know how long. I can't hear. It's tinny. Get back. Get close. Get near it. Turn it off. Reboot. Restart. I'm not saying anything until we get all that mierda out of the way. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? So let me tell you something. Unless and until I get the okay from everybody, I get a 5x5, and all of you sound engineers out of the way. I ain't saying nothing. You got that one? You got that right, Buggo? Buggo? What does that mean? Bucko, I think I meant to say. There we go. There we go. Everybody happy? Good. Not saying anything until I get the okay. Not going through that mierda like we did. You dig? Good, 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 good. Sorry about starting later. Mrs. Ellen and I kind of slept in. We had a wild night last night. We came back. You were out. We were out on a Saturday night. Never. Why? Because we're too busy searching the truth, doing our research for you to make you smarter. We had a wonderful time on Long Island yesterday. Went to a great party. It was wonderful. It was one of the best birthday parties I think I've ever been to. It was a friend's daughter's son's first birthday. It was fantastic. Stuff I've never thought of. Everybody was happy. And before I begin, two things I want to tell you. Number one, they had a backyard pool, and it was wonderful to see kids playing, screaming, yelling, jumping in the pool, splashing, talking. You didn't see a cell phone there among kids? Not one cell phone. Nothing. It was beautiful. Music to my ears. They had one of these bouncing, these things where you go in, the kids bounce. Apparently, it like topped up. Bouncy house, whatever. Anyway, it tipped over. The kids ran inside and made it tip over again. I love it. I love kids happy. I love to hear, and not this future Democratic, inauthentic. I want to see kids playing. It makes me feel good. I love when they're running around. And I love when they have guns and they're shooting water at each other. I love guns. They're not going to kill each other. It was just wonderful. And I also found out that whenever somebody is singing near me, they had a singer who showed up with this guy. Come fly with me. Come fly. Let's fly away. I start laughing. If you sing within X amount of feet, I start laughing. I can't do it. No, look at this. Trash man says, any boys dressed as girls? No. If ever there was nothing but raw, how do I say this? It was a very, very strong, how do I say this? Italian American theme. Nobody dressed. It was the opposite. I mean, there's nothing like being. This is my son Nunzio. This is Santino. This is, this is Cologero. This is Cicinido, Salezio. I mean, it was a different. It was very American. In the neighborhood with Trump flags everywhere, everywhere. The rabidity, the rabidness. It wasn't just, hey, we're for Trump. It's like, come on, God, it's great. That, of course, in Yankees. The two go together. All right. So anyway, that's where we are. I want to start off by saying, first of all, thank you. Welcome, dear friends. Welcome. We're going to win this. We're going to win this. Do you hear what I'm saying? We're going to win this. Hello. Hello. They don't know what's that. They're going to win it. We are going to win this. And they're going to have to win this if they steal it. And what I mean specifically through ballot farms and the like. They don't have the capacity to overcome the obviousness of the theft that would most necessarily be a part of this. Does this make any sense to you? Does this make any sense to you? I hope it does. In order for them to do it, in order for them to steal this fair and square, the level of theft would have to be so beyond obvious that it might even trigger actual legitimate law enforcement agencies to care about something other than stifling our free speech and expression. I want you to sit back. I want you to stand up, and I want you to, everybody stand up and say, repeat after me, grab your flag and your totem and say, we're going to win this. I'm not saying this. If you don't, Uncle Len, I just say this. Remember, I lost a lot of friends in right around 2020 because people said, you're not positive enough. I said, I'm telling you, it's a different story. They're not doing what I'm doing. They're not paying attention. This is different. This is a new world. This is a new world. I can't put this in the world. It's a brand new world. It changed, and it changes so bloody fast. It's not even funny. It's beautiful. It's beauteous. And again, I tell you, dear friend, dear, lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, beauteous American, or an un-American, but brother and sister of truth. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm using words more like truth and liberty, and I'm saying things as like, I mean, really, truly, absolutely, positively, 100%. I am feeling it like you can't believe. We're looking at things now, and we're seeing a perception that is everywhere. And all you have to do is just look. Just look, dear friends. That's it. Just look. Now, where do we begin? Where do I even begin to tell you? Well, let's go to the obvious, shall we? First, remember, in case you're brand new, I hope we have some new folks here. Welcome. Have some crumb cake. Sit down. Grab a seat. Pull up a chair. This is almost like I don't mean to mock this, but this is almost like we are the opposite of an AA meeting. We have this colloquium, we have this meeting, but we do it in order to have you once again, and again, I'm not trying to laugh about this or to joke about this, but to have you addicted to this thing called the truth. Okay? You hear what I'm saying? I know it sounds kind of corny, but it's not. It's not in the least. Let me also tell you, dear friends, I'm going to pin this. This is Mrs. L. You have made us so happy. Mrs. L's YouTube channel is on fire. I think Alicia Keys said, my love is on fire. Something like that. And she sounds just like that when she sings. All right. So everybody ready? Everybody ready? Okay, good. Where do we start? Put together a lot of stuff for you, my friends. To give you an example, this is the core. I'm going to put on the case for you. First, let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to you. Listen to me carefully. I don't know when all of a sudden people say, you just noticed this? Have you noticed that all of a sudden you can't stand somebody, or you can't stand a smell, or you can't stand, I don't know about you, but sometimes you might have a cologne or a scent or something, some scent, or years ago, everybody I knew, all my pals were in like martini worlds, and then this one day the smell of gin just was like, you just tired. Have you ever had this? Sometimes it works the opposite. When you were a kid, oftentimes you won't like a particular food. And then one day you wake up and you say, hey, I like mushrooms. I like this. This is weird. Yeah. Well, sometimes you realize, oh my God, this woman is an idiot. And we say all the time, we've told you this. You go, yeah, I know, but no, you don't understand this. No, it's one of those things. And by the way, special shout out to UW, our new member, and the lovely and talented Marianne Fagioli, as in pasta fagioli. We're going to call her Mary Beans. Thank you so much. We appreciate your sponsorship. But for the longest time, and I remember one time on the night, I'm not going to mention the show. You wouldn't know the show. On the night of the election, I said to this host, I said, Joe Biden is, and I never let him forget this, is out of his mind. He said, what are you talking about? I said, the corn pop story. The corn pop story was the precursor to somebody activating a part of his brain, a part of his mental whatever makeup, whatever it was, that was dangerously reminiscent of some lunacy, for lack of a better word. He was crazy. I told corn pop, I'm telling you, and he was out there looking, and he was like channeling this event that most probably didn't happen. I saw corn pop. I said, you but just talk about that. I said, hey, get off of that diving board. Remember these poor black kids were saying, who the hell is this guy? Who's he looking at? Who's corn pop? I said, not going to jump on that diving board with that pomade. No way. So I got those chains, and I put the chains in the switchblade, and we had them in sand, and we were shoving them against the pool. I said, let me tell you something, corn pop. Don't you touch my girl. That's my girl. So look at me, that Marianne did. She loves me. She doesn't love you. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, folks, hold it. He's crazy. Nobody said anything. When Hillary was going through her neurologic fugue, and thank God for her, because I don't wish medical problems on people. When she was going through her particular fugue at the time, I said to her, or I was saying, what's the matter with her? Were there a head jerking and the whole bit? Nobody knows. I don't know. So all of a sudden, now this is what is resonating. You don't understand this. You don't understand this, do you? Because you're too busy watching that crap. You're watching that Fox News, and you've got the same people who are only going to go this far. They're too worried about hair and makeup, and say, would you stop this? Judge Janine Pirro and the clothes from her office and say, Janine, what are you? You are an anachronism. You're not telling us what we want to hear, because we want to hear people, and it's not about her personally, but we want to hear people speaking for long swaths of time, devoting enough intellectual firepower to dissect the issue without any consideration of the amount of time that has or has not been attributed to it. That's all. It's a different story completely. Okay? Now, this is the one you got to watch. This is the one that people are still saying, oh, no.
About bringing down.
First, let me explain this one to you. This was this fellow named Taft. This is from Philly, okay?
When we talk,
this guy asked the simplest story ever. He asked her, gave her the signals so she would know which memorized 3x5 card answer she should give. It's almost like when Customato used to coach Mike Tyson. He gave each hit, each punch a number or something along those lines. You got that one? You got this? Okay. Listen to this. Now watch this.
About bringing down prices and making.
One more time.
Talk about bringing down prices.
When you talk about bringing down prices, okay? Now listen to me, Kamala. You got that? Ding, 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 ding. This is the answer. This is number 4. Answer number 4 that you memorized. They told me, all right? We're letting you know what it is, all right? We're going to want some specifics, honey. No anecdotes.
And making life more affordable for people.
Affordable. Got it? Prices affordable. No anecdotes. Don't talk about kids and growing up and then just very specific now. We want specifics.
What are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Specific. Want to do specific. You got that? You got that? You see how he's signaling? It's on a specific. This is easy. You only been doing this. And this is the first. Ladies and gentlemen, ding, 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 ding. This is the first. The very first interview she's had. The very first that she's had since that Dana Bash thing with old Tampon Timmy lurking about in this dark and abandoned diner.
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid.
Oh, Jesus. No, not the... See, you didn't hear what we said. You're doing this again. She's going back to this folksy, homey nonsense. I thought they told you, lose the accents. Oh, wait, we got a surprise for you coming up. It's back with a fury because she's resisting. But anyway, watch this.
My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people.
In Canada!
Construction workers and nurses
Canadian
and teachers.
construction.
And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience. But a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of Catholic of the
What the hell is she talking about?
Opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business.
She thinks she did a great job. And my man Chris Emerson says, she's insufferable jadrul. Literally, bruh. She's insufferable. Now, wait a minute. Recently, she's saying, I want to bring the laugh back. You won't let me bring the laugh back. I want to bring my laugh back. I want to do it. And I want to do my accents. I sure enough do legs to tell my folk. Talk about collard greens. Praise God. In the mother and the father of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I want to do my revival voice. I want to do my LaWanda Page. I want to do my, whatever it is. I want to do this. You told me I can't do it. Listen, it's not that you can't do it. It's that you can't do it. Literally, bruh, or sir, whatever a sister is. You can't do it. You don't have the natural inclinations and machinations. You don't have it. You don't have it. Do you hear what we're saying? You don't have it. Last night was hang on a minute. You probably did not know this. I'm going to tell you what it is. It was just beautiful. It was, hang on, where is it? Oh, here we go. This was the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's 2024 Phoenix Awards dinner in D.C. Hello to all my divine brothers and sisters in my soror or something. She brought off this new accent throughout the campaign, but a different accent. But she came back with a passion because she brought back not only the voice, not only the Butterfly McQueen, but the effusive, irrationally happy and ebullient, almost hebephrenic lunacy. What do I mean, you ask? Okay, get ready. And if you're drinking coffee, please make sure you take a swallow, spit it out, because if you haven't seen this, how many of you have not seen this? How many of you have not seen this? This one will just and it's so pandering. It's so pandering. It's so, watch. Yeah. What does that tell people? Well, we're not in her party. We're not in her group. We're not in her lane. We're not, I guess. You think she would one more time? You didn't really get it, did you? You didn't really get it. I don't think you got it. Right? I don't think you kind of missed this. Okay. I know you did, because I know she's like that piece of cuticle that you pull that hurts.
Hello to all my divine
lot of code here. Soror. She calls us soror. I guess maybe that's sorority. Maybe that's Howard. Who knows? There's a. I don't know. I mean, doesn't it mean home heating, air conditioning? I don't know what that means. Doesn't that make you sick to your stomach? Doesn't that make you sick? You're right. It's like Lena Horne. It reminds me of a different style, which we have not seen in fact, we have not seen this. Can you imagine Clarence Thomas or Condoleezza Rice or who go down the list? Ketanji Brown Jackson, she doesn't do this. I'm trying. Again, I'm being very serious. Corey Bush. It's. I've heard people do. I'm being dead serious about this. I've heard people do what you might call an African American, not affectation, not that it's insincere, but a more current version. Nobody's spoken like that since the Jeffersons. Maybe it's like Florida. You know, I mean, it's an old. It's not a. It's not legit because she was not here during the formative period of her time. She was in Canada. Let me say this again. There are, like anything else, you will hear, and I'm very sensitive to accents. You will hear, the John Kennedy. That is, you're not going to hear that in the future. You're going to be, there's almost like a dissolution. We were wondering, yesterday I heard some classic, absolutely beautiful, almost central casting, Brooklyn from the 60s, real, something in like not a Joe Pesci, not a Scorsese, but legitimate, real legit. I mean, really hard. And I'm very sensitive to accents. And that we are hearing, it's going away. It's just going away. She is speaking a patois that doesn't exist. It's almost like Southern, Gone with the Wind, Butterfly McQueen. More contemporary Black accents, for lack of a better word, do not have that vote. It's like somebody saying, "Hey, y'all." It's so insincere. And the best part is nobody's buying this. I can't say this enough. The people she is trying desperately, just like with the Taylor Swift movement, this is going to be the biggest flop ever. Taylor Swift, I don't know where they came from. It's not converting. 12-year-olds aren't voting. It's this. All right, enough is enough. I just hate inauthentic, and I could talk about it forever, but nobody wants to discuss it. There's this thing. If somebody came to New York and said all of a sudden, "Hey, how y'all doing? Forget about it," we'd say, "What are you doing? What is this?" If all of a sudden it was like on St. Patrick's Day, "Oh, faith and begorra. Oh, hello, Father. How are you?" They would say, Wait. Hey, how about some meatballs?" You would say, "This is degrading. What are you doing? Hola, would you like a taquito? Oye, I mean, stop it. Stop it." It's like you're not endearing. You are an Indian. I don't even want to go there. There is nothing authentic. Do you hear what I'm saying? Just nod, yes. You just nod. I know you're too busy. You're just as disgusted. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Genesis, Historical Black College University. Oh, HBCU. Thank you. Thank you. See, I knew you would know this. I knew this. I did not know this. And why would you see HCB? Do you say that in a sentence? Is that what you refer to it as? Do black folks say historical black college university? Is that it? I don't know. I don't know anything about her. Does she have that on a card? Did somebody tell her that's what you call it? Really? Yeah. Okay. Now let me remind you, dear friends, of a couple of things, and I can't say this enough. But before I begin, I've got to tell. I already have begun. Before I continue, I've got to tell you something right now. Two things. One, you must understand, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, our dear friends at preparewithlionel.com. For the love of God, if you do not immediately investigate the notion of how easy it is now for you to prepare for complete and total calamity and collapse, now is the time. Preparewithlionel.com. There is the link. You can hear me right now, and all of this is provided in the comment section, as well as our dear friends at mypillow.com. I'm sorry, forgive me, but I love that man. I have loved Mike Lindell from the moment he said, I'm going to say whatever I want. I was talking yesterday to other people about, I'm serious. I love people who say what they want and they don't ask for permission. I love that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I love that. I can't say it enough. So, my friends, there you go. I ask you to please support our great sponsors because they are so great in supporting us. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go back to this. Pilgrim Media said, let's hear some beautiful West Tampa patois. Oh, that's, well, believe it or not, coño, that's the West Tampa. And I can say, oye, me cago en coño su madre. Believe me, what I just said in actual translation is filthy. It's filthy. But in West Tampa, it's a kind of a West Tampa along with the kind of a Cuban thing, but it's the way they talk like that. And if you really want to hear West Tampa, listen to Tony La Russa or Lou Pinella, Piñera, who went to my high school. That and Tony La Russa, the best. Coño, you know, Vin, we're going to do the best that we can because we've been doing a lot to prepare for here in the Cigar City, and this and they love this. You know, and I tell you what do I think about that come mierda? I mean, this is that's it. I'll tell you, go get some boliche. Anyway, Crypto says, I was catching up on 2x speed. It was just as ineffable, but you had to play her cackle thrice. She doesn't get it. That's the thing that I find fascinating. Now, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, you can never lose your history. You can never lose that which you have propounded, that which you have suggested, that which you have been so, I don't know what the word is. We were told this, and the Democrats, thank you so much, Hog Dog. The Democrats have done everything in their power to let us forget this. But we're not going to let them forget their notion about defunding the police.
Been talking about defunding the police.
There's some issues that we ask police to do, like mental health issues or policing in schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do
Well, it's not that she sucked it up. It rhymes with sucked it up, but that's not you. You know what I'm saying? One more time. Was that Cori Bush? Tell us about this. Cori Bush, you remember her?
Schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes, defund your butts. Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources.
He's gone.
From NYPD.
We will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
They are talking about reducing the allocation of resources.
That's Marcia Fudge, ladies and gentlemen.
Resources to that department. And I think every single city in this country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund movement.
I'm for responsible reallocation of resources.
I'm for reallocation. I don't necessarily want to defund, but to reposition and reallocate those funds that would enable policing.
And defund the police.
I think you do all those other things. You don't need all the money that's going in the police department. So yeah.
We don't need money for, especially in, if you don't mind, in Springfield, where pets are being consumed by ravenous hordes of illegals, where cats and geese are being consumed and eaten in public to the horror and dismay of Ohioans. That's what I feel. No need for the police. Once you get this under control, you don't need them.
I mean, the spirit of it, I do support that.
Yeah, and a lot of us were asked if we could imagine a future without police back in 2017 when we were running for office. Yeah. And I answered yes to that question.
I can imagine being able to fly. Wings, sprouting wings. I can imagine that. It's not going to happen, but I can imagine that.
Reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
There's no reason the police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can make sensible cuts to policing.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the police bureau.
That our city, through our city administrative officer, identified $250 million in cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting, no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed.
When they're saying defund the police, what are they saying? They're saying we want fundamental, basic change when it comes to policing.
Just shut up.
And they're right.
We are reallocating funds.
The police department here in Minneapolis needs to be dismantled, and we need to start anew.
In some necessary cases, completely dismantling those police forces.
Police departments are taking a sizable amount of the budget of a lot of municipalities and other entities. We need to look at those budgets, pull some of the money back, and invest it in other things.
We are committed.
We don't know exactly what we're going to be investing in, but we basically want to emasculate those individuals charged with helping you.
To shifting resources.
Our calls to defund the police have been met with resistance.
To stop investing so much money in this militarized police
This is Lisa Bender, ladies and gentlemen.
Force, and instead invest in the things that our community really needs.
Yes, I support.
Now, this is Ayanna Presley. I don't know if she's been around. She has alopecia. Bless her heart. And look at Don Lemon. He's gone. Look at all these people who are gone. Gone. This defund the police today. Defund the police today is going to be like the word like phrenology or lobotomy that was used in the past.
A radical reimagining of community safety and public safety.
I do believe that we need to reallocate resources away.
And will this involve cuts? Yes, of course. To every department, including the police department.
And so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer.
When we say we get rid of that cancer, police is cancer, okay? Cancer she's talking about. Not just police, but the police. Here's Cori Bush. They primaried her. She's gone.
Hey, defund the police. The world woke up.
I really love that.
Here's Beto, Robert Francis O'Rourke. Beto could eat an apple through a picket fence. Okay, I don't know where Beto got this idea that I'm a viable candidate. No, you're not, schmuck.
Black Lives Matters and other protesters have put this front and center to defund.
Defunding police means defunding police. If these reports are accurate, then these proposed cuts to the NYPD budget are a disingenuous illusion. This is.
And by the way, remember, as someone said, which is Howie Brown says, 6 months later, they complain about crime because now they realize this demented moment of insanity, it doesn't work anymore.
Not a victory. The freshman Democrat adding the fight to defund policing will continue.
We are going to reimagine policing in New York City.
I think the idea of having a police-free future is.
And look at this schmuck. Look at this schmuck. This Fredo Cuomo. This schmuck. I can't stand him. From your fake weights to the time during COVID when you were. Remember this guy? This guy's so full. Oh, shite. It's not even funny. Remember that when he was in the Hamptons? I'm downstairs in my home in the Hamptons. Hey, honey, I miss you. Don't go out. Stay inside. And they showed him, because he's a liar, driving around on his bike. And now he's on a network that has about the same frequency and wavelength as a child baby monitor. He is a shape-shifting, desperate little boy, a benighted moon bat and his brother, that lying sacco merde who appeared recently when he lied and was responsible for killing, murdering scores of elderly people when he moved COVID victims or patients into nursing homes. This Cuomo must be some Italian dialect for full o' merde, because he is the worst. And the best part was, remember when he was going into his thing where I'm sexy, I'm lifting weights. Here's my middle-aged crazies. I'm going to sit at my desk doing behind the neck tricep extensions with 100 pounds. Look at me. Look, here I am with my wife at the sink without my shirt. This is the children. This is what we're dealing with. Well, they got rid of him. And then he started this nonsense line about, hey, CNN wants me back, because he wants desperately to get out of this channel from the land of the misfit toys. That's what he's doing, because that whole platform is dead. It doesn't exist. Have I made myself clear?
Very aspirational, and I am willing to stand with community members who are asking us to think of that as the goal.
Should be defunding or dismantling their
There's Marcia Fudge, ladies and gentlemen.
Police departments, such as in Minneapolis.
And by the way, remember, I had a great pun, but I'm not going to say it.
And New York.
My answer is yes to that. We need to be looking at it clearly.
Which means reallocating and not further investing.
This little boy, this little benighted little twit, this guy who goes on, this is great. This is what a schmuck he is. He goes on an interview with Elon Musk, his boss, and insults Elon Musk. You're an idiot. He doesn't understand. He thinks but I'm special. He's a joke. Did you see recently when he said, I'm going to walk around? He walked around the boardwalk. I guess he was in Atlantic City, and everybody he talked to was pro-Trump, and they schmuck didn't even realize it. Thank God our enemies are this stupid.
In a carceral state.
Going through a process of dismantling that institution.
So defunding the police, for me, it means a reallocation of funds.
Why use the word?
Well, they reallocated your ass because you're out of office, okay? Let's see how you reallocate yourself.
Word defund. Why use the word defund? And it's like, this is the word that's coming from the streets, you know?
We're going to dissolve the gun violence reduction team.
He's the mayor of
resource
Portland.
officer program.
Oh, Portland. Remember that? Portland. Well, there's Portland, Maine, and Portland, Oregon. I hope it's Oregon, or Oregon, as people say, or Oregano, as others say. That turned into just the absolute cloaca. Put it this way, it was so bad that if you wanted to give the United States an enema, you'd stick the nozzle in Portland.
and the transit specialty units.
You don't have one bad apple. You don't have 4 bad apples. You have a system-wide problem in that police department. And only by completely dismantling that system and rebuilding it intentionally with the community members at the table, do you have any hope of getting it right?
Meanwhile, I want to have a superimpose of some guy ripping some kitten while children scream and they're playing demolition derby among Haitian immigrants driving poorly to Ohio. This didn't age very well.
Together as a community to reimagine what public safety looks like for us.
We talk about defunding the police.
Remember Jamal Bowman? Jamal Bowman was the guy who pulled the fire alarm. They got rid of his ass.
Defunding the Pentagon.
My push is
defunding the Pentagon. Okay. Anything else? How about let's defund and what about Black Lives Matter? Is that still being funded? Whatever happened to that audit? Remember when oh God, you know who, I can't think.
We defund our police departments.
This idea of reprioritizing our budget, this idea of moving funds and reinvesting.
It means, is she not end? Is she just a perpetual font of shisa that just spews? Have you ever seen a chocolate fountain? Did you ever go to one of those things where you have this thing that's just like bubbling? It's like this lava. It's like chocolate. It's just pouring out. Well, imagine instead of chocolate, that's AOC. This is a woman who ruined. Long Island City was going to get an Amazon what, a factory or facility? They were facility. They were by real estate. There was hope and dreams, and she put an end to it. Why? She wanted to reallocate reality.
Is that we need to look at ways in which we can reduce the amount of resources that we're providing to the department, redirect those funds
to make sure that that defund is first understood and that we bring that home to our communities.
So Minneapolis unanimously just voted on a resolution that will engage the community on a 1-year process of what happens as we go through the process of dismantling the department and starting anew.
And what we committed to was a community process to help reimagine public safety.
The city council in Minneapolis made the right decision.
So when we talk about defunding, it can show up in multiple ways.
We obviously took money out of the NYPD budget, put it into youth programs, put it into social services, put it into recreation centers for young people. That's really the right direction. I'm glad we did that.
Not only do we need to defund, but we need to dismantle and start anew. Allows us to really reimagine what public safety should look like in our community.
It means a dramatic reduction in the number of police in our poor communities, and particularly our poor Black and brown communities.
I'm asking you to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to make sure that overfunded police?
I'm going to sacrifice you.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it.
And so what we are advocating for is a reorientation, reimagining of what public safety should be.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't you love when you use their words? Go ahead. Take it. Go ahead. You get LaWanda Page up there. Hey, okay, terrific. Put all this together. We're going to reimagine. Okay, good. They're going to reimagine you out of here. Do you understand? This is just, it's gone. Edie Crowley says nobody picked up on Cammie mocking on Trump in the debate. He wrote love letters to Kim Jong-un. Oh, nobody cares. But she did say that. You are correct about that. Crypto says the preacher says pigs and lambs also. And of course, hog dog. There we go with this. This is incredible. You could just run this and say, if you want this, be my guest. Hey, Minneapolis, how do you doing? You want less cops? You don't need your cops, do you? You don't need that. You don't need any of this. And I still tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when we were at our little event last night, we're talking to people who were rational and good. What do you think people were talking about? What do you think people were talking about? What do you think was the one that just blew people's mind?
People eating pets. And there were two levels on which to enjoy this. Well, the first one, I literally enjoyed it. People were like, I can't believe Donald Trump accused people of eating pets. I was like, I love him. It's just hilarious. Who would ever say that? They're eating all the pets. So great. Thank you, Donald Trump. That was awesome. Because first of all, it makes all the right people mad. Like anyone getting red in the face over pet eating. That's not true. That's never happened. No one's ever eaten a pet. Okay. You just outed yourself. You're a liar. So that's the first thing. The second thing is now we're talking about eating pets. And so now that we are, let me just count myself as opposed. Note that if PETA doesn't endorse Trump in the next 24 hours, they're totally fraudulent. I'm serious. People have run for president in this.
Don't you love the way Chucker shakes his head when he makes a point? He shakes his head. He's so effervescent, and he's correct.
This country since the 1780s. Has any presidential candidate ever taken an unequivocal stand against pet eating? None. PETA's been waiting its entire life for this, and they still won't endorse.
Yes, Franklin Pierce, I believe, did this. Okay, but wait a minute, my friends. There's more.
Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes.
This is just beautiful. This is what Judge Stanine can't do. Hello, I'm Judge Stanine. I'm on Fox News. I'm sitting on a couch with this guy. Who are you again? Yes, with Grey Gutbucket. We're here, and Jesse Waters, and it's over. We don't need you to assimilate this. Let me send this to the phones and the iPads and the Chromebooks and the desktops. And let me show people this, that you can show over and over and over and over. This is what's going to make the difference. This is it. I don't need people to comment on this. I just want you to see this.
The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts. A tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
You think that's a joke? This is the stuff that just paralyzes people when they see it. And they're going to do everything in their power to call it wrong and to call it you're being racist. The word racist doesn't even apply anymore. We're going to win this through their own words, not me. It's what they did. Tell me what's wrong with that. Tell me. I've been always talking about the census and reallocating and not even gerrymandering, but creating new swaths of voting peoples and the like. Ryan says, why does polling today seem more like a battle between firms and mainstream media where their numbers are so disparate? What's a narrative-driven poll and what's legitimate? You will never see a legitimate poll ever enunciated or professed or produced in public. Never. Not going to happen. Now, what about this, dear friends? What about this one? And this is really critical. Let's talk about this feller you haven't thought about, and we haven't thought about, when Tampon Timmy and J.D. Vance go at it. This is the one, listen to Uncle Lenny, this is the one that nobody is even anticipating in terms of the horror that will be inspired by this. Why? Imagine you've got to go to the doctor for some reason. I don't know why. And you've got a neighbor. You've got Donald Trump as one neighbor, and this guy's not, and you've known him for years. And you ask yourself, would I leave my kid for an hour? So I've known him forever with somebody, a grown man who acts like this.
Oh, give it to me. Give me my moment. Give me my moment.
This man is so dangerously effusive. And what people are saying is, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. What is it? Oh, nothing. What do you mean? No. What's the matter? Nothing. They didn't know this. He's not weird. He's strange. He's crazy. There's something weird about this Paul Lind, kind of Jerome Robbins, kind of weird. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. It's kind of like effusive, show-tuned, hyper. She doesn't have the identity. She's into this fake, this ecstatic, whatever it is, luminescence, or this guy just ain't gonna work. Now, here's the best one too. This is my favorite. This is when you realize, have you ever been to a wedding or an event and the band is so bad they don't get it, they don't understand it, and you are laughing hysterically? That is CNN. Watch two things. Tater, remember Brian Stelter, who blocked me? I don't care. And this Caitlin Collins, who has that, look at her left, the left eyebrow. I don't know if that's just a Botox thing or if just always angry. Like she's angry. David says, are the illegal immigrants included in the employment number programs? Yes. And their employment could be anything. Ladies and gentlemen, it's CR. She's a new member. Thank you, CR. Welcome aboard. So watch two things. Tater, who's Brian Stelter, and watch the perpetually pissed off, angry snark and snarl. And I don't know why, of this Caitlin Collins, who is just so angry. She's just never happy. Never. It always, and the only reason I see her is if there a clip like this surfaces.
I mean, what's your sense of watching it, as someone who's
I'm a little surprised.
I'm
surprised she's saying it out loud. She's so obviously visually not Joe Biden, right? She is the hope and change and youthful energy in this race.
Can you believe the cojones? And I use that in his term very, very loosely. Okay. But in any event, can you imagine saying that? The hope and train. This guy actually says this?
I'm surprised she's saying it out loud. She's so obviously visually not Joe Biden, right? She is the hope and change and youthful energy in this race. To me, the images are more important than anything she's saying right now.
The images are more important than he actually said this. This paquete, this jode, this tolete actually said the images are more important than what she's saying. Actually said this. He is such a suck up saying, please don't fire me again. Please, I'll say anything. I have no interest whatsoever in maintaining any dignity. I'll even say that. Don't let me go. I've got nothing. Look at me. Please. I'll do this. I'll suck up to her. I'll be fawning. I'll show this disgusting obeisance to this fantasy that she's able to win. I'll do it. I promise.
Keeps filling these rallies. That's probably more important than what she says out loud at the rallies.
She's filling the rally, schmuck, because she's paying these people to show up in buses. How can you say that? Time after time after time, Trump has these people who wait for days outside on their own dime. You can put it in Bug Tussle, Nevada, Armpit, Arizona, and they'll show up. She's got to pay. Look, I knew CNN was bad, but never like that.
Yeah, and the other night she said, I'm also not Donald Trump, which I think everyone can agree on.
They think this is funny. She's not Donald Trump. Look at this. They're trying desperately. Now, these two at the end, I don't know who they are, but this dude at the far right, he's thinking, I don't even know what the hell am I doing. Is this ruining my career? And Caitlyn, so young to be so devoid of any connection with reality. Unbelievable. And speaking of which, my man.
Ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay?
Now stop right there. Ladies and gentlemen, did you ever think? Imagine somebody in your family that you could bring back, I hate to say it, to earth, who maybe has passed, and says, Grandpa. And Grandpa says, well, what have I missed? Well, try this one, Grandpa.
He ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay?
Who's that? That's the Democratic vice president. What? Well, the nominee. The what? Oh, yeah, Grandpa. Oh, it gets better.
He signed a law letting the state kidnap children to change their gender. So
we're not kidding. I mean, no, that can't be. Oh, no. I haven't even told you about the pet massacres and what? Well, we'll get to that later. But oh yeah. Did you hear that, Grandpa? It's true.
That they go home, but I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about her. This is her ideology. That's why she picked him. And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law.
Want to talk about that? Anybody? How about that, Tater? Want to talk about that? Anybody game?
This all started with a bill authored by Representative Lee Finke that crossed out language in existing statute. And the effect of that language was to exclude a physical or sexual attachment to a child by an adult. Another word for that would be pedophilia. To exclude that from consideration as a sexual orientation under the chapter of law dealing with human rights and protected classes. Okay. So the effect of the bill would be to take existing language that says, hey, by the way, a physical and sexual attraction to a child by an adult doesn't qualify as a sexual orientation, and just draw a line through that language and say that we're just getting rid of that. We're repealing that.
And it goes on. I mean, it's all here. It's all here right before our eyes. I got to tell you something. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? And by the way, lest you forget, ladies and gentlemen, and that, by the way, that piece goes on forever. I don't have time for this. But lest you forget,
are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Police report. You don't hear the I can't say this enough. Kamala last night was so happy she could do the laugh, and that she has missed this. If I told you that Tucker can't do the shaking his head thing, he would say, "But I can't talk." I mean, we all have, you know what I mean? Not an affectation, but a tell or whatever it is. We all do certain things. If I told Trump, "You can't do this anymore," Trump would say, "Okay, I can still talk." And you know, everybody's. If you told Ronald Reagan, he can't say, "Well," he could still do it. But if you told Kamala, you can't laugh, because that has been a substitution for rational thought and for substance for so long that you're taking away not just an affectation. This is a part of her substance. That was it. Her beguiling charm is what she's talking about. Oh, it's incredible.
It is are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested in Midtown Manhattan for assault, robbery, and domestic violence are illegal migrants.
Police have tracked down a killer whose crimes span the country. Rachel Marin was dragged from a hiking trail in Maryland where she was raped and murdered.
Police say Brandon Ortiz Vite used a handgun he bought illegally to shoot Ruby Garcia multiple times on Friday.
The prime suspect charged in Laken Riley's murder was 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra. He illegally entered the United States back in 2022.
A Texas grand jury indicted Rafael Govea Romero. He's accused of attacking 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina by repeatedly hitting her head and stabbing her.
So let's get our notions together about what we're talking about.
Do you not despise? It's not dangerously liberal. It's not dangerously liberal. Don't stop saying this. It is dangerous. Do you not despise this movement? And I don't blame her, because she's a sock puppet. She's a windsock. She's an empty vessel. She's a balloon, but it's the air that you pump into the balloon that makes it a balloon. There is no Kamala. She doesn't exist. She was created out of thin air because these morons thought they're just fungible. We'll put somebody in and it doesn't matter. And I'm telling you, Tampon Timmy is worse than she is. Wait until the debate with J.D. Vance. That's what I say. Now, one more time, my friends, just watch this.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread cost 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. How good do you feel now? Zach Peters says, Grandpa, they're putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. They're eating the dogs, eating the cats. I know. And they're saying, Zach, sit down. No, Grandpa. Zach, are you doing those drugs again? Grandpa, I'm not. Drew West Press says, these people are evil. How could so many people not see their figuratively demonic behavior? Indeed, sir. Ryan says, Brian Seltzer, Caitlin Collins, know who butters their bread. Their sock puppet collecting a fat paycheck. Of course they are. Yes, indeed. George Lenz, I think you are thinking of Bert Parks. You mean Miss America? Thank you so much. Raul Rodriguez says, after the debate, I'm optimistic Trump will win. Well, indeed, part of that, but it goes even more. It goes, how do I say this? It goes more than, hang on a minute. There we go. It goes beyond this. Now, look, listen to me and listen good. I don't mean to hit you with this on a Sunday morning. But if Trump doesn't win this thing flat out, if you think it's not, remember, we're not talking about these ideas being thrown, presented to the American public for the first time. Now, we're talking about people watching this after 4 years of this horror. It's a different story. And all of those ideas, Beto O'Rourke, what was that? Cory Bush, get over it. They just were so filled. They could not understand that what they were saying was sheer and utter lunacy. Okay, my friends, I have done my bit for you today. I hope I have done everything I can to make you absolutely so angry. And if you really want to get angry, and if you really want to spread the message, you are going to follow Lynn's Warriors on YouTube right there. I put the link on the discussion section, but I put the link up right there for you right now. Watch what she does as she goes after Diddy, but in a way that, because he and others are at the core. Remember, these are the change agents of immorality. Brad Rung says, I am scared. I cannot sleep at night. In the subs of outside of Philly, all I see are signs in front of these houses. She will win in Pennsylvania. We will see that. Remember, it depends on where you are going. Go to more rural, go to whatever. We will see. That's why it is critical, Mr. Rung, that we do everything in our power to make sure that the ballot mills and ballot finagling is fixed once and for all. I mean that sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. Wouldn't that be great during the course of Kamala speaking? And I feel that you were, Mr. Trump, yes. Did you do that? I most certainly did not. Mr. Trump, would you stop that? I don't know what you're talking about. Please proceed. Bidenomics, you did it again. I did not. Look, you blaming everything on me. For the love of God, there's nothing wrong with it. It's human. She did not do that. She did do that. Do you know what would happen? Crypto says, if he loses, you pick the new nation. I'll buy tickets. Thank you. Listen to me and just imagine this. If during the course of her speech, you heard that, or better yet, no, hang on. Wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Everybody the next day would be howling. They wouldn't have heard a word she said. I'm telling you, for the first time ever, artificial flatulence in the middle of it would be the great. You think I'm kidding? Kids, people from every country in the world, it would be history. And Trump would say, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been accused of a lot of things. My God, have you know? You're going to what? Charge me with this one? Is there some obscure New York statute? You're going to charge me with 34 felonies for what? Artificially inducing flatulence? To what? To promote something? I mean, you freedom of speech? I can't speak. I can't opine. I can't think anything. Have you what? Somehow connected the intel community with this? Maybe it's a symbolic way. Maybe it's like nodding. Maybe that's my nodding. How dare you suggest? How dare you that I would be so low, so trite, so base as to artificially interrupt this woman's drivel by providing this flatulent simulacrum? How dare you? All right, dear friends, I've had enough. I've given you an hour of 10 minutes of my morning on a Sunday. Why? Because we're going to win. We're going to and make sure you get your friends. Make sure they join us here at Lionel Nation. Make sure they join the fray, join the fun, join the frolic. All right, dear friends? Great. And don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors right now. Right now. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. See you tonight at 7. Don't forget, Lionel Nation, I got some good stuff coming up. And until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.